are back with the Hubscale podcast, where we dive into the minds of security leaders all around the world. This week, we have the founder, chairman, and CEO of CloudSEK, Rahul Sasi. It's great to have you on the show, Rahul.
Thanks for having me, Elliott. Would love to see how this goes.
Yeah, no problem at all. Well, I guess for everybody who doesn't know Rahul, could you give a quick introduction to yourself?
Yeah, so I've been a cybersecurity entrepreneur for almost 7 plus years now. My background is, I quit my engineering to do cybersecurity job full time, and that's because in my college they were not allowing me to do a 6 months internship outside the campus, and I thought it was important for me to do cybersecurity that day than spend another 6 months in college. One of my beliefs at that point of time was that if you want to be something today, you have to act on it today, right? For me, all the 4 years or 3.5 years I studied was to become a good cybersecurity engineer. And I didn't see a reason to wait for what I wanted to. So I quit my engineering, I went to work for this company. This company was called Eyesight Partners. Now it's part of Mandiant, and which is part of Google Cloud, by the way. Worked with them for quite some time. While working with them, I kept doing what I was good at, was publishing research papers in cybersecurity. That got me as an invited speaker to almost 25 plus countries. So I traveled around the world, met all these folks. So I came from a middle class family, a small village. So in my notion, I had this belief that great products always come from, certain countries, right? But when I met all these people, I understood that, people all around the world are the same. The successful people are same as you, right? So what make the difference is the actions you take. So that boosted my confidence. And somewhere in 2015, we founded the company, bootstrapped the company for many years. Then we raised funding. And today we're touching close to 200 people, more than 150 customers all around the world. So that's how it is.
Yeah, I remember talking last time, Rahul. It's a really exciting journey that you've been on. Expansion all over the world, closing 200 people worldwide. It's a super exciting journey, and this is why I'm really excited to dive into a little bit more about this today. So just tell me about CloudSEK then in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, so I mean, the way we look at our company is, we are into the business of protecting cyber threats. Now, to predict anything, it's not science fiction. It's actually science. If you look at today, we can accurately predict rain. How do we predict rain? We pass the data of rain through a mathematical model, which tells us accurately how much it will rain. That's very similar to what we do in the company. We build unique data sets, cybersecurity, and then we build unique models and algorithms, and we combine these two things together to make cybersecurity predictions, which tells us who could be the next target, why are they the next target, right? We call them intelligence in a way, but this is what we provide to our customers. Intelligence on cyber threats that could impact them, very contextual, right? Very specific to things that could impact them and make or break their business. That's what we provide.
Yeah. No, it's super exciting. It's definitely a space that's obviously growing and needed within the security realm. I want to touch on a point you mentioned earlier, Rahul. Obviously, you mentioned about when you was kind of growing up in the security realm, you thought that only companies could come from certain regions. Only companies could come from the US, Silicon Valley, places like that. So tell me what it's been like building a security company internationally.
So I think. So we still have a lot of challenges, by the way, right? I mean, you do know that, right? There are great watches that still come from Germany or in the US, but the Swiss watches have a certain demand and a certain reputation. That doesn't necessarily mean there are other places in the world that are not good watchmakers, right? So very similar is our situation, right? I mean, even if you're building great products, there is a challenge in the market to accept certain good products which would come from a region. And I think that has been our primary struggle. But I don't think that struggle will be long, because the minute you see people evaluate quality based on how they experience the product, right? So the minute we are in front of a customer and demonstrate what we have to offer, we have seen be able to close on those deals. So yes, we have a big challenge, right? But I don't think that challenge is is difficult to solve. We're solving it, and we're seeing success in that.
Yeah, well, 150 customers worldwide, attracting 200 people to the business. I'm pretty sure you're doing a great job of that, Rahul, as well, which is pretty awesome. And that kind of takes us on to that step about what does it take to be a good CEO, and especially building a company and internationally, maybe coming into a few more roadblocks than say other vendors. So what does it take to be a good CEO?
Yeah, so Elliott, I recently did I also do a podcast, and recently I had Steve Wozniak, the Apple co-founder, who was not in my podcast, and one question I asked him was this, right? What does a good CEO do? And I think I align with what he said. I personally align with it. A good CEO's job is to take care of what is the core of the business, right? What is the core of the business? If you're a product company, that product is the core of your business. If you're a service company, that service is the core of your business, right? Ensuring that you understand whom you cater the core to. That means in our case, we are catering to enterprise customers. So then you building a culture around your company to ensure that your core business or the core product is taken care is absolutely the most important aspect of the CEO. Now, and Steve Wozniak's way, Apple One computer was built by him, right? That was his, job as a CEO. The iPhone, which Steve Jobs launched, it was Steve Jobs' understanding about the consumers, which helped them succeed there, right? So any product, whom does it cater to? Understanding that consumers, understanding that market, making sure you're doing everything right to cater to that market would be what a good CEO's job would be. So in that perspective, setting up the right culture, setting up the right people, setting up the right set of investors, all are activities to support the core objective.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And I've even found that we're a service-based business, right? A recruitment service-based. And I've already found that it's just focusing on making that process the best process that can be possible, and hiring the right people as well to obviously filter into our kind of mission and goal. So what is your mission and goal, Rahul, as you move forward?
See, the way we see this is, right, I personally believe computers are going to be far more powerful in the future, right? And I think computers would be making a lot of decision. When I say a computer is making so much decision, the ability to manipulate these computers will have catastrophic effects on the community or the people. So I see a future where machines are going to be far more superior, and we need far more superior machines to defend them. So now imagine a superior machine getting in the hands of a bad guy, right? They can do bad things. So we need good machines to defend these bad machines. And I believe everything we do, because we are a cybersecurity company, everything we do is in a way impacting, even today, people and lives, right? If you look at the number of incidents we resolved, the number of people who, if you would have acted on those incidents which we found, the number of people who would have lost their money, hard-earned money, would have been far more significant. While we acted on it, right? We work with almost 20 plus banks, right? Our actions working with those banks saved hundreds of people their hard-earned money. While they might not know about it, that impact it has created is much higher. There are people whose KYC and PII informations were getting leaked, which are again used for further scams. The amount of incidents we prevented from that happening is also far more higher, which would all result in people having a good day because of us, while they would not know about us, right? This, I think, is our mission, right? I mean, make sure our work is impacting the society in a very positive way. And building a technology which can do it much more efficient, right, for the future is what I think our mission is.
Yeah. No, I love that. I really do, and I think it's key to have a mission, and it's obviously to help people all around the world, not just in certain areas. I think it's an amazing mission to drive towards. Really do, Rahul. And I guess that a mission statement always helps attract people to the business, right? You need everybody to be bought into a vision, bought into the same mission of helping people as well. So when you've grown this business from zero, bootstrapping from the early days to nearly 200 people, how are you attracting these people to the business?
See, the very first days, it was difficult, right? I mean, it is extremely difficult because I'll also tell you one thing which worked for me was, before I started the company, I had a certain reputation because of all the researches I did. My public profile used to be there. So there are a lot of people who knew me, not so much, but still people who knew me. So the early set of people who joined me knew my work some way or the other. But I keep saying, it is not about you as a founder. It is actually about the people who joined you the initial days, which makes or breaks the company. Because while you have a mission and objective, you are a high risk in front of the society, right? The perception of risk kind of reduces when the first person joins you. Now people are like, well, yeah, this guy joined, so it is not as risky as I think it is. Now the second person joins, it further reduces the risk, it gives confidence. Now it's no more risky, it's more confident, right? I mean, look at these other two smart people who have joined. And that means something is going on, right? So as then you keep adding more and more people, the perception outside is just drastically changing. Now people, we get hundreds of submissions every day, people writing heartfelt messages on why they want to join CloudSEK. You see, it changes, it changes over time. But like I said, it's always about the first people who joins you, right? That makes the difference.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with that more. We're going through that process right now. We're 6 people, right? It's going through that exact process about attracting the right people, especially at the beginning to the organization. You mentioned something earlier about the brand, and obviously your brand, your kind of personal profile on LinkedIn. You've got a lot of followers. How has that helped throughout the time?
It's actually very helpful when it comes to. I think it's helpful in B2B as well as B2C. See, the way I look at it is that, you are actually, see, in the end, a business buys from a trusted business, or a person buys from a trusted person. Now, how do you set up that trust, right? Trust can only be, how do two people trust each other? Two people trust each other when they see values and ideologies matching. Trust is established when two people believe that the other person will honor and value, what you discuss. Right? You can build these things if you have a strong public profile as well, right? And that way, you're actually telling the masses in a way that you're not an unknown person, you're a trusted person, trusted by X number of people because of your actions. And these followers didn't come because, these followers came because of an action. And I particularly focus on one action. I always think, what can I do for the cybersecurity community? Every action I do, whether it is a post, whether it is a charity service. We recently donated an amount to the family of a cybersecurity professional who lost their life to cancer.
Wow.
Right? And we've been doing this. We've pledged a percentage of our revenue to cybersecurity professionals who have been having difficult times. So the point I'm trying to make is our actions and my thought process is always to do what is right for the community. And because I've been doing right for the community, a bunch of people trust me and a bunch of people follow me, right? And those people have always contributed positively to our business. There's actually internally, we even have a tracker which says that this lead came from Rahul's LinkedIn follower, right? And it has been very successful that way. Though I sometimes think I'm not doing enough, but it is very helpful that way.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. And look, I'm on the way to trying to build a brand like yours as well, Rahul. I think hence the podcast and some of the posts that I do as well. So it's actually quite inspirational, to be fair, because you are doing a lot for the community. You're helping people whilst building a business as well, and being the CEO of a business as well. So no, hats off to you. It's an amazing accomplishment that you've achieved through these years.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I would always look at is that, well, you can be happy about what you have achieved. You should never be sad, but it's always about what more you can do, right? So it's a, being an entrepreneur, it's always a pleasant and unpleasant situation. Pleasant because, yeah, well, you've done so much, but you're always thinking about what more you can do, which always keeps you in an unpleasant situation as well. I think the balance is what, I think a right entrepreneur would need. But I think, and everyone will go through that stage.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. I do, and the journey that you've been on, the stuff that you're doing is pretty cool, Rahul, as well. So I guess just switching it back to a little bit more on the business side, I think this kind of ties in really with the brand and everything along those lines as well. But creating a strategy worldwide. I always like to ask this question because I think everybody has different opinions. But how do you create a global go-to-market or global strategy to kind of go after the customers that you need?
Yeah, so like I said, right, and our thought process always have been in what do we do today that would help the cybersecurity community. And when we reach out to customers, we always reach out with a gift. When I say gift, it would be a report which should help them positively resolve a critical incident which they never knew about. I can talk about very specific incidents. Recently, we reported something to Adidas, right? And they fixed it, so that's the reason I can talk about it. We have this free tool called BVigil, right? What BVigil does is it'll give you the security score of any app which is installed on your phone. So with the power of BVigil, I could really search for any company that has a security impact today. So we recently reported something to Adidas where in the Adidas app, they have an app which you can buy, they can shop Adidas merchandise. They had hard-coded their Salesforce API key inside the app. And what that means is, with that API key, it's like a password to their Salesforce infrastructure. You can read any transaction. That means anyone made a purchase on the Adidas app, the attacker could know about it, including the PII data and to what they purchased, right? And we were able to see all those data, obviously, which we reported to Adidas. Adidas team was very fast in resolving this, remediating it. So, so this is our gift, right? We gift them something. And sometimes it's a gift. Sometimes they gift us back. Sometimes they don't. But this has been our approach. And with the capability of our technology, we would know at this point of time every company in the world who has an issue, which they might not know. With the capability of the data sets we have built, we have this enormous power to knowing things which absolutely no one else would ever know. That is our superpower, and that's what we leverage to, establish our global presence.
Yeah. No, it's super exciting. It really is, and I'm really excited to watch CloudSEK grow over the coming years and expanding into new regions and taking on the world, Rahul. So no, appreciate you coming on the podcast. Really do, and we've dove through a lot of topics. But I always like to leave with one question. It's kind of a selfish question. I always like to find this out myself. But if you had to go back to the early days of your career, what would you tell yourself?
So I think my confidence level, on every stage keeps getting better. I don't think I was as confident as I was today, 7 years back. Well, I knew I wanted to build something. I was a huge risk taker, that much I know. But the confidence is like, you see, it's an uncertain thing, right? I mean, you don't know what you don't know, for sure. But then I would go back and say that, don't worry, you would be able to do things. And whatever things you think is risky, just go ahead and do it. Because, you don't know the outcome, but it'll be still better than not trying some of those things, right? So I'm saying I'll just go back and say, be more confident, and I think I'll keep telling this. Is what I would say.
Yeah, I think sometimes one's own confidence or one's own personality can sometimes actually get in the way of being successful, or whatever successful means these days. But yeah, no, I love that. I love that part and the topic there, which is really good, Rahul. So no, appreciate you coming on the podcast. Thank you for all the insights today, and yeah, looking forward to seeing the next couple of years with CloudSEK and yourself.
All right, thanks, Elliott. Thank you.